Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. You are hopefully beginning to feel like you're emerging out of the darkness of these last few weeks. Maybe last week was sort of a process of pulling off the last sort of final cobwebs, and hopefully this week has sort of found you standing on the precipice, or maybe even already running towards the creative process that you are intending and moving yourself strongly towards your vision, your dreams, your hope, the fulfillment of what you're creating. That being said, here's what the theme of this week's creative energy is bringing to us. You ready? The sun moves through the gate 27. The gate 27 is one of those energies that influences us in a deeply compelling way. It's part of what's called tribal circuitry in the chart. It's part of what's called the defense circuit. It's that kind of energy that, if you're a parent, you'll know what I'm talking about, that will compel you to throw your body in front of a bus if you think your child is in danger and you need to prevent your child from getting hit by a bus. It's that place where we sacrifice ourselves because of the depth of the love that we have for others. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and there are certainly times when it's totally called for you to engage in those quality of actions. But we have to really talk about what does it mean in terms of how we go about engaging in the creative process in our individual lives. That same quality and intensity of love gives us an energy and a theme of obligation and responsibility, which are beautiful and powerful themes. These are those energies that cause us to stick to whatever it is that we're doing, no matter what our personal level of exhaustion, no matter what our energy is about. Think about parenting again. You know, when you are the parent of a newborn baby, it doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter if you haven't had a nap, and however, it doesn't matter if you don't even remember the last time you changed your underwear. You will get up and take care of that baby because the love and the sense of obligation that you have runs so bone deep in you that you will do whatever you need to do to fulfill that responsibility and obligation. There is a real beauty in the heaviness of those obligations. Now, when we are playing with this energy, it's not really necessarily about, your love and your family and those pieces, although those themes might come up for you this week. It's also about you getting really clear with yourself about what's the level of obligation and responsibility that you are holding for the fulfillment of your own creative process. What are you committed to? What are you obligated to? What do you feel responsible for? And is the heaviness of that responsibility weighing you down and causing you to feel depleted and exhausted and disconnected from the purpose of what you really want to be doing in life? Or is that responsibility and obligation, heavy as it may be at times, compelling enough to inspire you to keep moving forward step by step, bit by bit? Now, here's where it sometimes gets tricky. We are deeply conditioned, and this energy will help us do this. We are conditioned to care for others, oftentimes at cost to ourselves. Now, as I said, if your child's in danger, that makes sense. But if you're giving up what you want and need, if you're giving up your energy, if you're not using your energy wisely for yourself and your own creative process, and you're instead giving it to other people in a codependent kind of a way, or maybe you've taken yourself off course with your obligation and you've gotten distracted by your need to care for others or your sense of obligations that are somewhere over there and maybe not right in front of you where perhaps they need to be. So the question for you to play with this week is, are you using your energy wisely? If you feel that you've gotten yourself quagmired and twisted up in some tangled hierarchy of need and perhaps a little bit of codependency, or maybe other people's needs and other people's demands of you have caused you to shift away from your own focus, your own direction, it's really important for you to ask yourself this week, particularly if you're caught up in the drama of other people's stuff, whose problem is it? Sometimes the most loving, empowering act that we can take is not to take care of someone, but to step back and to hold space for them to figure out how to solve their own problems. It's a opportunity for you to look at all of the obligations in your life and to really make sure that the ones that you're giving your energy to are the ones that ultimately are going to create more love, greater empowerment in the long run, even if you might have to fight a little bit to get to that space. The next thing that we have to look at this week is, are you sustaining yourself? Are you taking care of yourself enough to be able to stay the course with your own sense of obligation and responsibility to your own direction? Have you depleted yourself, taking such good care of everyone else that you neglected to take care of yourself first? When you sustain yourself, when you take care of yourself first, you add to your energy reserve so that you can then turn around and take care of others better. So if you have guilt, and guilt is one of the markers of this energy this week, if you feel guilty for saying no, or for saying, I need to take care of myself first, or if you cut people off and let them loose to figure out their own stuff and you feel guilty about it this week, remember that you taking care of yourself allows you to serve as a greater resource for others. It allows you to be more present, more energetic, more driven to do what you need to do to not only fulfill your own dreams, but to support others in doing the same. Now, just to make this a little bit more interesting, the Earth transits the gate 28, which is the gate of struggle. This is a really important energy for growth and expansion. We have built into our energy field, built into our energy blueprint, the need to struggle. Now, notice that I said struggle and not suffer, because those two things are very different. Suffering happens when you get stuck in the struggle and you don't realize what you're really struggling about. The purpose of struggle is to give us something to push against so that we can get a feeling level of what's really worth struggling for. Struggle's not random. We're not supposed to just run around on this planet struggling all the time. The struggles we experience are there to teach us what's truly valuable, what's really worth pushing towards. And so as we look at our obligations and our responsibilities, and we look at perhaps the status of our relationships, and not only the relationships we have with others, but the relationship we have with ourselves, and if we feel like we have to push to maybe make some change, to shift the level of care and value and obligation, maybe to deepen our obligation and responsibilities, or maybe to lighten our responsibility and obligations, we also have to ask ourselves, are these changes that we're making, is this push towards our own growth and expansion really the struggle that's worth fighting for? And if it is, if you can look down that road and see, here's the greater benefit that comes to all of us in this equation, because this is all about caring. This isn't selfish energy. This is about the energy of love, all right? The love for yourself and the love for others. That when you can get clear that these actions will have a longer term payoff and they're worth the struggle, it'll give you that extra added drive to knuckle down and bear down and really continue to stay the course step by step by step with your obligations, with your responsibilities, so that you end up ultimately using your energy correctly, keeping yourself focused on the things that are truly valuable, and staying the course so that you can ultimately see the manifestation of what you're committed to, not only for yourself, but so that you can increase your foundation, your base, so that you have more to give to others. That's it this week. Use your energy wisely, ask whose problem it is, take care of yourself, and stay grateful. Sometimes we grumble about the heaviness of our responsibilities and obligations. Sometimes we grumble about the exhaustion that being in partnership sometimes creates for us, or being in relationship creates for us. Remember that those responsibilities and obligations, heavy as they may be at times, are evidence of love's imprint on your heart. Be grateful for the love. Take good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you all next week.